As an autistic person, have you ever thought of being able to work independently? And what are the positive aspects of working independently? So, I wrote down a whole bunch of different reasons for positive reasons to work independently. And so, you want to, as an autistic person, you want to reduce your sensory overload. Autistic individuals may be hypersensitive to certain sensory stimuli, such as noise, light, or touch. When working independently, you may have the freedom to create a work environment that's tailored to your sensory needs, which can reduce sensory overload and improve focus. So you can have more control over your workspace. You may you may need to work at your own pace, and so that may be faster than others, it may be slower than others. But when you are working independently, you may have the freedom to work at a pace that's comfortable for you, and then it'll reduce stress and anxiety. So also, working independently, you may be able to reduce your social anxiety if you have social anxiety. So, um, social interactions can be challenging, and when people are interrupting you and talking and being loud and not respecting your space and not allowing you to concentrate, working independently may be a good reason to to do that. So you can increase your ability to focus. So just like I was talking before, there could be a lot of distractions from coworkers. So working independently, having a smaller workspace, even having your own office where you have your own door, that can definitely help you. Um, you can reduce the need to mask. So in having to interact with coworkers, you may need to mask. You may need to laugh at their jokes when you need to get your stuff done instead. So, um, so when working independently, you have the freedom to be yourself, or at least more of yourself. So you will have also more opportunities for creativity. You do have a unique perspective that is very unique compared to the other coworkers that you have to deal with. So when working independently, you may have the freedom to explore your creativity without fear of judgment or criticism for others because you'll be more independent. So, another thing that you might want to look into is increased flexibility of working independently so you can reduce stress. Because you can be rigid when you want to be rigid, you can be flexible when you want to be flexible, so you don't have to be on somebody else's timetable as much if you're working independently. Obviously, you have deadlines, and but at the same time, the day to day, hour by hour, minute by minute, micromanaging won't be there if you're working independently. So you can improve your work-life balance. You may be able to have more time to engage in your creativity. You will help improve your work life balance because you may have a more flexible schedule. You may be able to build that into your life. Reducing burnout. So, the idea is to you don't want to burn out in the first place, but if you're getting there, you can take a break when you need to, and you won't be micromanaged into having to deal with everybody else's schedule. You can take a break, and if you need, even a half an hour that's not a programmed half hour for your lunch, you may be able to do that and then work a little bit longer because it all depends on how you're being paid. If you're being paid hourly, you may have to figure ways out to be more independent as far as your hourly time, and but you'll be able to, you know, reduce the amount of burnout. So you want to increase your productivity. You may work best when you have the most freedom, and you know. Because we like to work independently, we know what our deadlines are, and as long as you match those and you don't have a micromanager on you at all times, um, you can prove to them that you can get your work done, and you don't have to be, they don't have to have an eye on you because they know you're going to get your stuff done. You're going to have the ability to have more autonomy. You will be able to work more independently. Um, so you'll be able to have hopefully a flexible work schedule, or at least a flexible daily schedule. And so also you can accommodate your sensory needs. So as I talked about this before, um, so you can set up your workspace and set up a silent area, or set up an area that you can meditate in, and you can relax when you need to relax, and work when you need to work. Um, so remote work is something that you might want to look into, because it's becoming more and more vital, and more available, and so you will have to figure out how to um, you know have a work life balance, because if you're working from home and you don't have a space outside of home, you might not be as motivated to work when you need to get it done. So um, so when you have the ability to work independently, you can set aside time for brainstorming. You can figure out how to make this work, and then come up with a plan and implement that plan. A lot of the times people get too into their rut. They don't realize what is what needs to be done, what's first things first. So brainstorming, you can prioritize what is first, and what you need to get done first. So you can create a stimulating work environment. So you have different aspects of your personality, and you can make your work environment more tailored towards your needs. Um, so you can take breaks. You can definitely set up a place where you can do mind mapping and use visual aids. And because unless you work in a flexible work environment, people may see your mind mapping and get all confused by it, and not want you to do it, even though that could be the best way that you could help your company and be the most valuable person that you can be as part of your company. So if you are, you need to talk to your bosses if you are in your own cubicle, but you can set up different things to where you can isolate yourself from them in certain times and be more independent. And if you are working from home, you don't need to worry about that, because you can keep your mind map off to the side when you're doing your Zoom calls, and maybe even add to the Zoom calls with your mind mapping, if you can make it intelligible for the other people. Because I know that when I've tried using mind mapping with my coworkers, they get lost immediately. And for me, it makes sense, and for them, it doesn't. So you can collaborate with others in your own time, because you'll have more autonomy, but then you'll be able to make appointments, and instead of being just people dropping in and not minding your sacred space of your work environment. So you can experiment with new techniques, new tools, new parts of learning, new learning aspects, and you can keep an open mind. And you can take yourself out of the old patterns. You can, set aside some time once or twice, or even once a day or once a week to come up with new ways of doing things and new techniques. And then you can see whether they work or if they don't work. And as long as you have your independence, you'll be able to do that. So, those are the positive aspects of working independently and building your own environment and having your own autonomy with your employment. So, um, with that, this is Finding Your Hidden Superpower. Autism, Asperger's, and those of us who are neurodiverse. We have to look into what we want our life to be. We don't have to always, uh, you know, bend to other people and have to mask, because that burns up our mental energy, and it will burn us out, and we will be not good employees. We will not have a good way of making money and enjoying life. So, in order to enjoy life, make good money, and live the life you want to live, you got to figure out ways to become more independent, because as a autistic person, you realize that there's only 2% of you around. So if you are whatever job you're at, you're probably one of the only ones there that's autistic. So you're the odd person out, and then you're going to have to explain to them what you need and how you need it. And if they're not willing to work with you, that might not be the best place to work at, because your life is going to be miserable until you find a good spot. So if they're not accommodating, you need to figure out how to get out of there and find another job, even if that job makes you less money or you have to travel farther. In the long run, if you quit before they fire you, and if they're not being accommodating, they're not showing empathy towards your concerns, that's really not the place to be, because all the money in the world isn't going to make you happy if you're busy making yourself miserable and having your coworkers make you miserable. So, with that, have a great day.